Alright, now that the Christmas videos are out of the way, and I've gotten past 20,000 subscribers and are getting close to 30. Oh no. Anyway, I thought it was fitting that we sit down and do a Q&A session. I just thought, that'd be a little bit of fun. You know, answer some questions people are curious about and see what everyone wants to know. We need some semblance of fun since it seems our country is utterly desperate to commit suicide, and yeah, let's not think about that, please. Let's get started. We'll just get straight into it. This is definitely going to be a lot less of an edited video than usual because I just won't have the time. You guys asked a lot of stuff. This will be in no particular order, but fuck it. Opinion on Naruto/Naruto Shippuden's contradictory message about how no matter who you are or where you're from, hard work will get you anywhere you want, even though the protagonist has a demon fox that gives him superpowers and is an incarnation of a child of a god. It kind of answered your own question there, but yeah, it's ridiculous. It kind of falls into the shonen trap of they could only stretch so much out for so long, and Naruto was going on for a long time. Plagued Gripes has a really good video. I think it's called Naruto the Self-Made Hypocrite, and he basically goes into that exact problem and points out that Naruto really kind of was just stupid with how it did the message. Just wondering, how familiar are you with 40k, and if you are, would it be something you would make content about, such as reviewing media related to it? I like 40k well enough. I'm not a super huge fan of it, but I like it. I know one guy was asking what my favorite Primarch was, and I kind of had to look into it again because there were so many, and as stated, I'm not super familiar with the lore, but I like Rogel Dorn, the dude that made the Iron Fists, because of them you got Black Templars, and Black Templars are fucking crazy. Those Flash Git videos where they're fighting furries, that's not out of character for the Black Templars. The only question I can think of is when you're going to rally the troops to take the White House by force. No, we're not gonna do that. I mean, if this country's going down, we're just gonna buy an oil rig and go full big boss. I think that'd probably be the best possible solution. Become mercenaries or some shit. When do you plan on watching the Monogatari series, and if you did already see it, what are your thoughts? I haven't seen all of them, because that's another series kind of like Fate, where you really have to know where to jump in order to kind of get the full context. Thankfully, Monogatari, it seems like they're more just self-contained stories that are tangentially connected, but the only one I saw was the one with the vampire, the one where the guy resurrects the vampire and she starts eating people, because it kind of reminded me of like Fright Night, and I like that. Have you seen a Serbian film? I think I saw it once, yeah, and it was just kind of one of those where I went in fully expecting it'll just be a gore movie, because that's, you know, widely considered to be one of the most disturbing movies of all time, and yeah, it's definitely not for the faint of heart, but it kind of is just meh. I'm not really a big fan of it. It tries way too hard to be disturbing. I'm not really that on board with it. Least favorite anime. So that one's kind of hard because I have to think. The ones I don't really like, I don't tend to remember too much. So if I really had to pin it down, I really did not like Darling in the Franxx. I thought that one was really bad. I didn't care for it. I didn't like the ending. I didn't like the story. I didn't like the characters. It was generic mecha taken to the extreme. I wasn't on board. What's your favorite food to cook and what's the recipe? Yes, I'm looking to increase my recipe count. What of it? I really like ramen and pizza rolls. Yeah, I don't know how to cook. I mean, I know basic stuff. I can like fry sausage or heat up a chicken, you know, relatively, but I'm not a chef by any means. I'm not the guy to look to for that. Did you get your PS5 yet? Also, are you hyped for the final season of Attack on Titan? I have not gotten a PS5. My friend has one, and he likes it a lot. He says it's pretty good. I have not gotten one yet, though. I still have the PS4 Pro, and it's been serving me. Eventually, I will get a 5, because next console generation, you have to adapt eventually, but at the moment, I'm happy with what I got. Also, in regards to Attack on Titan, I hear the final season is really good. I kind of dropped out of Attack on Titan about when the first season ended, because I was, you know, trying to read ahead in the manga a little bit, and everyone was a Titan shifter, and it got to the point where I kind of wasn't on board with how the story was going. Apparently the ending actually is super good, so I'll wait for the final season to end, then I'll watch all of it. Who knows? Maybe I'll like it a lot. Favorite anime that not everyone knows about? It's kind of hard. I do like Samurai Champloo if we're talking from the context of not one I talk about all the time, but in regards to one that just really isn't that well known, I do like Ergo Proxy, I do like Shigarui, And those are kind of more underground ones. I've been getting through Technolize, and Technolize is fucking trippy, so I might like that a lot when I finish it. Favorite anime, video game, movie, and song. Also, congrats, your content is really good. Oh, thank you very much. Favorite anime? I'll probably go with a basic bitch answer and say something like, maybe Cowboy Bebop, Ghost in the Shell standalone complex, especially season 1. 2 is really good, but season 1 is the one I can kind of just go back and watch again and again. Video game? It's hard to answer questions like this because I never have just one singular thing I like. It's always I have like 4 or 5. So I guess video game, I really like Witcher 3, Doom, the reboot games, 2016 and Eternal, they're really good. The Mass Effect trilogy before, that went up in flames, that was really good. I have a whole bunch of stuff I like. Movie, I guess I really like Joker, and I really like stuff like I Saw the Devil and shit like that. It's kind of one of those where, as stated, it's hard to pin down a singular thing because I can like a whole bunch of stuff for all sorts of reasons. I'm one of those where I'm really, really bad with questions like this because I'll just start puking out all sorts of answers. And song, as stated, I can't nail down just a single one. I guess it would have to be, I like stuff like from Death Clock and Sabaton. I like Biggie Smalls. I like all sorts of stuff, man. But thank you for the question. Sorry that I'm kind of butchering it because I just don't know how to pinpoint an exact answer. What anime do you recommend for newbies? Okay, I'm assuming to like get into anime. Safe answers would be, Cowboy Bebop, Ghost in the Shell, the movie, 1995, the standalone complex anime. That's kind of more, you would have to know your friend would like it before you recommend it. It's slower paced than you would think, but it's really good. You also have the classic shonen stuff like DBZ, Fist of the North Star. You could argue if you just want like dumb, fun, brawny action shit. JoJo is really crazy and out there, so it might scare some people off, but a lot of people have been getting into JoJo. There's a few options. I've seen that your YouTube channel banner is Jinro. It'd be cool if you did a video discussing that. Oh yeah, I like Jinro a lot, and I do want to talk about it because I also want to talk about the live-action movie that Korea made and kind of discuss that. On its own, that movie is pretty good, but as a Jinro thing, it's kind of atrocious. But still, it's really good. Can we expect more ultra-violent old anime reviews in the future? I like that you can review them without being super dismissive like other reviewers. Oh yeah, 'cause I actually like really violent anime stuff. I outright said one of my favorite thing period is Berserk, and that's really fucking violent. A lot of people review them trying to like take them seriously, but a lot of those older OVA stuff that's ultra violent, they don't really take themselves that seriously. They're fully aware it's just drunk fun. So have you watched Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and do you plan on making a review of it or some analysis video about it? Oh yeah, I like Full Metal quite a bit. I talked about it in I think it was the chat live stream, but it's like the one story that I've found that can do the protagonist doesn't want to kill people thing and do it right, because the entire idea of Full Metal is that killing leads to more killing, the cycle of violence thing. So when Edward outright says, I don't want to kill anybody, I'm not a killer, I don't want to do that, it makes perfect sense, and he's not an obnoxious hypocrite about it, so it's really good. I like it a lot. I definitely want to talk about it. What's your favorite manga artist / anime art style? Okay, I am going to hinder myself here because the obvious answer would be Berserk, but I'm gonna hinder myself here and say I cannot talk about Miura. I really like Araki. Toriyama's art style, that's universally liked. That's really good. You also have stuff like Ito, where he has that really creepy, kind of uncanny art style. That's really good. These are all really basic bitch answers, but there's a reason, because they earned their fucking spot. You also have the guy who made Fist of the North Star style is like really good. It's ultra over the top where like every dude's fucking jacked to the nines and all that, but the detail is still amazing. I like it a lot. First off, congratulations. Oh, thank you very much. Second, what do you think of the anime reviewers on this site? For example, Mother's Basement, Bennett the Sage, Chris Stuckman, or anyone you came across. This is gonna sound funny, but I actually don't watch that many anime channels. Stuff like, Gigook's pretty good. He's pretty funny, but other than that, I don't really watch that many channels dedicated to anime, because a lot of them tend to have the same personalities. I noticed, like, over and over again, it's some guy who is going to be a little bit of a spicy political thing, but obviously left-leaning, obviously trying to act all empathetic and nice to everybody. Mother's Basement's especially guilty of that, and they talk about anime, and it's usually some really cutesy thing or generic shonen, and I kind of wanted to come out and say, well, this stuff's really good too. I like this stuff, so that's kind of what got me into doing it, where I just saw all the anime channels kind of just copying each other, where they're all trying to act really cutesy or over the top or something like that, and I'm just kind of like, fuck that. I want to talk about crazy shit. Hey, weird question, but do you like SCP lore and are at all interested / heard of Lobotomy Corporation? It's basically an SCP game with you managing the jobbers into not being turned into lunch or being killed by giant teddy bears. SCP is okay. It's kind of one of those where when it first started off, it was genuinely really creative because it was essentially H.P. Lovecraft meets Man in Black, and that's really cool. I actually like that idea a lot. But when it got super popular and everyone was uploading something to SCP, they were always referencing SCP and they were making like fucking deviant art shit for it. That's when it all fell apart. It's not scary anymore. It's not creative and got absolutely infested by obnoxious teenagers, so fuck it. Also, I did hear that Lobotomy Corporation is supposed to be pretty good. Will this make you upload more? Well, that's the thing. Whenever I do like a really big project, it hampers me a lot because I just want to focus on getting that done. But usually I try to keep videos like relatively in a decent schedule where it's like a week between each one. Something I try to do. I don't always do it because then I go and make an hour-and-a-half long fucking Mass Effect video. So I try to upload as much as I can. That's part of the reason I want to do like more streaming stuff, because it helps supplement the content a little bit and helps people have something to look forward to beyond waiting an entire month for a video. Yeah, I'm trying, I really am. Pancakes or waffles? Pancakes. I had way too many freezer waffles to ever want to look at them again. Pancakes, way better. Which version of Fullmetal Alchemist is your favorite, the 2003 or Brotherhood adaptation? Also, what were the strengths and weaknesses of each? Well, if I really had to pin it down, I like Brotherhood more because it follows the manga a bit more. 2003 is not bad, and some of the filler stuff it had was like genuinely kind of awesome. I haven't watched 2003 in a long time, but if I remember right, there was a filler episode where Edward had to hunt down a serial killer, and I watched that when I was a kid. That was like one of the first anime things I watched because it was on Toonami, and Toonami was that gray area of Cartoon Network where some of the stuff it showed was definitely for kids, other stuff it was absolutely not. So I ended up catching that filler episode when I was like 10, and it always stuck with me where Ed had to like literally impale the dude's hand to get out of the room, and I thought it was fucking awesome. I'm 95% sure that was probably like a Mandela effect memory though, and if I go back and watch the 2003 episode, it's not there, and I'm just crazy and I'm misremembering shit I saw as a kid, but I hope it was real because from what I remember, it was cool. Top 10 game for this year. Also enjoyed all your videos in production. Oh, thank you very much. So, I haven't really played too many games that came out this year to give a full 10, but I can definitely give like a few. I really liked Doom Eternal. That was really good. You know, it was basically like Devil May Cry with guns, and I liked that, where you actually have to really know what you're doing and think strategic, and you can do spectacle shit, you just have to know what you're doing. Final Fantasy VII Remake was pretty good. I have some issues with it, such as I don't like how early Sephiroth shows up. Like, he definitely should have been like at the very end, but they decided to put him way before that, and I kind of got annoyed. But other than that, it was pretty good. You also have Ghost of Tsushima. That one's an obvious one. I really like Ghost of Tsushima. That was just a kick-ass samurai game. I liked it a lot. And I'm going through Cyberpunk right now. Yes, there are definitely bugs with Cyberpunk. There's a lot of problems with Cyberpunk, but I'm still kind of in love with it because I like the story a lot. I like the characters a lot. I'm happy playing Cyberpunk, and I'm good with that. Also, Yakuza 7. Yakuza 7 is actually really good. That actually is like one of the best Yakuza games. I like it. Haven't watched enough of your content to know, but Mahler, Longman good, Longman extra good, or in your subjective opinion, extra good? Well, I like Mahler a lot. I like EFAP. You know, they're pretty good. I think he's like a genuinely pretty funny dude, and some of his movie reviews are like, yeah, they go on forever. Like there's like 6-hour fucking Force Awakens review. But he is also really good at pointing out shit you didn't think about. I mean, as stated, I think I brought it up once again in the chat stream I did, but a lot of the Star Wars stuff, I'm good with kind of listing things down as rule of cool, but he'll actually like go into the logic of it and point out why something is either really good or really stupid. I mean, I like Mahler. I definitely couldn't do what he does. I mean, that motherfucker's like, there's attention to detail, and then there's the long man, and I'm not long man. Do you plan on making any content for Cyberpunk 2077? Also, congrats on the growth of the channel. You deserve it, man. Oh, thank you very much. That's very nice of you. Well, I do like Cyberpunk a lot, and I did like when me and my friend streamed it. That was a lot of fun, and people seemed to like it. I don't know if I could necessarily go down and make a video about it. I mean, I'm definitely not saying it's an impossibility, because you never know. I might actually genuinely want to talk about it, especially when the DLCs and the expansions and patches come out, because CD Projekt Red's definitely going to do that. So who knows? Down the future, probably, but right now, I'm kind of just having fun playing the game. When were you first introduced to anime? What led you to make an anime-centered channel? Well, I think I already kind of described it, but when I was a kid, Toonami was on Adult Swim, and that was when it was really good. So essentially it would be like 4 in the morning or something, and I would stay up all night because I was kind of a night owl as a kid. I liked staying up and like seeing the sun come up. So I would just watch Toonami, and that's where I saw stuff like Ghost in the Shell, Dragon Ball Z, stuff like that. And I really liked it. And yeah, that's kind of how I got first introduced to anime. I think a lot of people kind of in my generation did that way. You know, this generation and the last one were, yeah, they were watching Toonami, and that's where they caught, you know, Cowboy Bebop and a lot of the really classic stuff. And in regards to what made me make a channel around anime, I kind of already described it, but it's because everybody that did an anime channel, it was kind of the same senses of humor, the same styles, the same shit kind of over and over again. And I have nothing against people that do that, where they want to, you know, come across as really ultra cutesy. That's kind of the word I describe it. I mean, the politically incorrect term would be autistic, but I'm being nice here, so cutesy. Or they try to play it very safe. Like one thing I keep noticing over and over again with anime channels is if there's a show of fan service, they'll like talk about the fan service as a bad thing. And I get it, not everybody's into ecchi shit. Like there's definitely shows where they just plain take it too far and it gets to the point where it's not even fun anymore. But I kind of got sick of hearing the same shit over and over again in regards to anime reviews. You know, like a guy can get their hand cut off and then everyone that has an anime channel on YouTube will be like, oh, it's super disturbing, even if that's the one guy that gets his hand cut off. So I'm just kind of like, I wanted to kind of put my shit out there and kind of be like, hey, this shit's really good, and yeah, sure, people die, but it's not that big of a deal. You like jazz? Jazz is okay. I like New Orleans type jazz. I'm not really a big fan of like classic stuff because that shit's gay and for hipsters. Since you're the lolly of lollies, will you be making an anime opening for your videos? That could be a lot of fun. It would just have to be one of those things where you have to find the right person to animate it and make sure they get all the credit and love they deserve. So that'd be a lot of fun. I just don't know if that's possible right now. What do you enjoy doing in your spare time besides watching anime, playing video games, and making videos? I guess I go to work, and then come home, and then... You ever gonna do Tokyo Ghoul? You gotta love the music even if the MC and SCs are all as tropey as they come. Yeah, eventually I'll do Tokyo Ghoul. I know people like it, but once again, that's kind of like one of the most shonen things ever. So I'd like to talk about it just to be like, hey, even if it's trying super hard to be edgy horror stuff, I'm not that into it, but I'll talk about it. I'll give it a shot. Your favorite lolly? It's in the name. I had to do it. I like Megumin. Megumin's a lot of fun. I mean, it's one of those things where I call myself the TheAlmightyLoli, but it's not like I'm actually into that shit. My standpoint on lollies is not, oh, you know, would I sexually molest them in a Kmart? It's would I rescue them from a Mexican drug cartel? That's my standpoint. It's like, how much of a daughter would they be? That's my standpoint with lolly. Beyond Megumin is actually like kind of cute, but she's actually like an adult if you read the visual novels. So like she actually just looks like a petite woman. So, who would you rather kiss in a fight, Mike Tyson or Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson? Dwayne, he's a wrestler, so he'll know it's part of the performance. Mike Tyson will just hurt me. Have you seen Ergo Proxy, and would you ever consider making a video essay on it? Would love to hear your thoughts. Oh yeah, Ergo Proxy is really good. It's like a really cool mix of like gothic apocalypse shit and cyberpunk. It's really cool. I like Ergo Proxy a lot. Have you played a game named No More Heroes? And I remember you mentioned the gorillas. I would like to hear your insight on them. Yeah, No More Heroes is a lot of fun. I'm waiting on 3. Travis is just so much fun. He's crazy and I love him. And the gorillas, I like a few of their songs. I'm not like an avid follower of them. Like, I think I was listening to them up until they made that music video where that guy from Powerpuff Girls was in it. Then I was just kind of like, okay, I'm done with these now and I'll move on to somebody else. They're good and I still listen to Clint Eastwood from time to time. That's a good song. Also, Feel Good Inc. is pretty good. Other than that, I'm just kind of like, yeah, they're there. What was the first anime you watched? That's kind of a gray area because I have to remember what came first, but it's down to like 4 or 5. It was either Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex, Cowboy Bebop, Dragon Ball Z, Case Closed, the fucking Detective Conan one, because that was on Adult Swim when I was a kid at the time, or Full Metal Alchemist, the 2003 version. It was one of those. I don't remember which one exactly, but one of those was the first. Are you actually going to be doing a Generation Kill review? Oh yeah, at some point, I definitely want to. I think it'll probably be the 4th of July video for 2021, assuming America hasn't collapsed into a dystopian hellhole by then. But no, I like that show a lot, and I would like to talk about it. When are you going back to the Megumin PFP? I like Nikaido though. look at her, she's so happy. It's great. I like Dorohedoro a lot. Of the games released in the last 5 years, which ones do you deem worthy of praise? I really like Persona 5, even if it kind of ruined the series, because all the fucking new people came in and then they started shit-talking Persona, because it turns out they weren't actually fans. They just wanted to come in and ruin something, like they always do. But still, it was really good. I like the music, I like the designs, I like how they changed up the combat. I really like Persona 5. There's also Yakuza 0, which that's straight up considered to be probably the best Yakuza game. That one's really good. I don't really consider it to be the best, but it's definitely up there as one of them. Plus you have Doom 2016, and then Eternal. Those are really good because they kind of kicked off the return of like the boomer core shooters, where mobility and speed and kind of more high octane shit comes back, and oh man, they're so good. I like it a lot. Also, Dusk. Dusk is fucking amazing. Like, if you grew up playing shit like Quake, you need to play Dusk. What was the influence for making your channel? Well, kind of all sorts of things. I actually kind of did grow up watching YouTube in a lot of ways, because my generation was the one that was kind of coming in just as it was getting really popular. So, yeah, there was just always a point where we were watching shit on YouTube, whether it be the really old stuff like that guy with the glasses to bring a nostalgic memory back, if you get what I mean. But then, you know, moved on to stuff like regular media, and I guess if you had to say, like, the actual guys that influence my style now, I really like the new movie critics coming out now, like Fox's Productions. Cynical Reviews is really good. Obviously, you know, guys like Mahler, as stated, because I like The Long Man. But I also really like guys like Mandalore Gaming, Seth. I like those guys a lot because they're really funny and they have really good reviews, and their style is simple and effective. Well, not Seth. Seth gets really elaborate, and same with ER. If you ever watch him, he gets really elaborate with his editing, and it puts whatever I do to shame. Not even an exaggeration. But still, I like them a lot. How old are you? Not in my mid-20s yet, I'll put it like that. What are your favorite comics and manga? Please add details as to why. I really like Garth Ennis's Punisher, just because that to me is the definitive Punisher. The dude managed to make Frank Castle the scariest guy in the world, and it was fucking amazing. And I really like how he did the Punisher, and to me, every Punisher since then just does not live up. And it kind of ruins a lot of the older ones, where when you just delve into what Frank can do when you just let him completely off the leash and let him do whatever the hell he wants, it gets fucking scary, and it's amazing. I also really like stuff like Berserk, and I made an entire hour-long video explaining why I like that one. But basically, I really like Berserk because, to me, it was basically a shonen story, but treated as a seinen. So it's like, think DayZ, but it's in a really grim version of itself. And I really like it because Guts is a really great protagonist. I really like the world. I like all the Lovecraftian aspects. I like how it's all set up. Berserk I like because every single part of it, to me, beyond some of the stuff that comes later, it's really good. I mean, some of the stuff later, like with the pirates and Sonya and all them, it gets annoying, but Point is, I like Berserk a lot. I like Punisher a lot. Beyond them, I also really like The Boys, just because The Boys is like one of the funniest fucking things I ever read. It's fucking batshit crazy, but it was hilarious. I liked it a lot. And then you have stuff like Gantz, which that's also batshit crazy, and I like Gantz quite a bit. I also really like Hunter x Hunter. What two characters from Berserk and Spec Ops The Line would make a great couple? Walker and Griffith, because they both did absolutely nothing wrong. Fuck you. What happened to your Twitter? Oh, it got banned. Yeah, banned. I got a little too heated in an argument with somebody, and it banned. When do you leave your house or apartment? Well, it depends on why. Sometimes I go out just because I'm lazy and I just want to, you know, get something to eat, or I go to work, or I'm visiting family. You know, there's a few reasons why. Favorite political quadrant? Far-right death squads. Far-right death squads. I want them. Give me Jinro. What was the oldest anime you have watched? If I'm being perfectly honest, like oldest, not even a joke. As stated, I would stay up like all night when Toonami was on, because as stated, I'm a night owl. If I didn't have to go to school the next day, I would just stay up all night. So Adult Swim would play fucking episodes of Astro Boy, and I would watch them because I was like, oh cool, that's a cool robot show I get to watch. It's like a cartoon thing. So no joke, the oldest anime I have watched was fucking Astro Boy, and that's about as old as you can get without counting the fucking cartoon World War II propaganda that Japan put out to destroy America. So yeah, is there anyone living with you? Do you have any valuables in your house or apartment? Nah, I'm gonna label that information classified. Nice try though, but I'll have you know I've fallen for this trick before and I'm not doing it again. Will you do a face reveal? you guys don't want to see my ugly mug, it's for the best to know. I want to know your honest opinion on college. Is it hard or depressing? Anything as long as it's an honest answer. I never went. Yeah, I never went to college because too expensive, and I just plain didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. So I kind of, you know, at graduation, like high school, I kind of just sat down and thought, do I want to spend thousands of dollars basically retaking the same required shit like English, math, science, and all that without realizing what the fuck I want to do with my life, putting myself into thousands of dollars of debt? Or do I want to, you know, work a few jobs? And now I'm working on getting my real estate license because I'm getting into real estate stuff. I'm not very good at it, but damn it, I'm learning. But yeah, beyond that, no, I never went to college. I don't really regret it either with how college has turned out for a lot of people. Yeah, no, fuck that. Do you want to become mainstream or stay kind of underground with your own corner of YouTube? Oh, definitely underground. Mainstream, you deal with like all sorts of crazy people, and I just don't want to deal with that. Because, you know, if you go mainstream, every single thing you say will be used against you, even if you're like blatantly joking about it. So I've used a few spicy jokes in my videos before because I like that kind of humor. I kind of like pissing people off and just kind of seeing how far is too far. And if I go full on mainstream, like full on corporate sponsors and, you know, articles written about me, nah, fuck that. I wouldn't be able to do that. I'd have everyone breathing down my neck all the time, and I'm like, fuck you. What's your favorite board? I'm guessing A. I actually really like V, even though V's a bunch of fucking contrarians. But I like V a lot. Pole is fun when they're not like having mental breakdowns all the time. I mean, you can't take Pole ultra seriously. Everyone treats it as like, oh, it's a hive of degeneracy and horrible terrorism. It's really not that bad. It's people making fun of each other all day. But now it's just full of like people having mental breakdowns all the time. It's annoying. What's your favorite genre of music? And are you interested in old isekai like Now and Then, Here and There? Oh yeah, I like Now and Then, Here and There a lot. That's actually really good. I really want to make a video on it. I just need to find the time. Also, favorite genre of music? If I really had to pin it down, I still really like metal and like classic rock stuff. But as stated, I kind of listen to everything. But if I had to pick one genre and everything else vanished, probably metal. Since you covered Mass Effect in your video, do you prefer Garrus or Tali? I like Tali, just because like I like that whole cutesy thing she has where if you're a male shepherd, it turns out she has a crush on you. Like, that's nice compared to the absolute misery that a lot of the other people go through. No, Tali's a good character. I like her a lot. You should review Saga of Tanya the Evil. Oh yeah, I want to. I actually really want to. I'm working through the show right now, and it's fun. What is your favorite type of character? The one that you enjoy the most or you're most intrigued by? My favorites are goofy dudes who are sad inside and they have some problems to overcome. Dante, Majima, etc. Yeah, those are pretty good. I also really like the guy that's obviously lying to your face, but he's really good at what he does, so you have to go along with him. Kind of that very manipulative serpent type. You know, guys like Garrick from Deep Space Nine, obviously. You gotta love the troubled warrior, the guy that doesn't want to get involved, but he ends up getting involved anyway. Those are usually pretty interesting if you do it right. The thing is, like, any type of character can be really interesting to watch. You just have to know what you're doing with them. But yeah, those are typically the ones I like. Also, since I also started playing Dragon Quest XI, I ended up really liking that trope of the hero is still the good guy, but the entire world thinks he's evil and is out to get him. For some reason, I like that a lot. Same with why I really like Shield Hero. I don't know why I like that character trope, but I do. It's interesting. Will there be an increase in upload rate, and how are you, mate? I'm doing pretty good. And upload rate, as stated, I'm trying to keep it consistent, but if I ever get an idea for a big project, I end up latching onto it and I want to do it. Because typically, whenever I have an idea for something, it like itches in my brain, and I have to sit down and like flesh it out and do something with it. Otherwise, it'll drive me fucking crazy. What do you use as a video editor, and how did you learn to use it? I use DaVinci Resolve because it's free, and I like free things. Also, the way I learned to use it is I basically just looked up videos on YouTube. It's really that simple. Some of it is pretty self-explanatory, such as you drag a clip onto a timeline and there you go. But the more advanced stuff, like keyframes and knowing how to fade something into another thing, or like audio work exactly, you kind of want to look up how other people do it so it works. It really is way more helpful than you'll ever realize. When did you come up with your name? Basically the idea for my name, I just kind of got bored one day, because originally I was on Twitter, and I was kind of like, what would be a funny, like, gimmick name for my account? So I thought, okay, I'll do, like, TheAlmightyLoli, because the idea of having, like, an anime lolly be, like, a foul-mouthed dude that's not afraid to use racial slurs, I thought that was really funny. And when I started doing the YouTube shit, I thought, you know what, that'd be really cool. And yeah, that's how I got my identity. Do you usually forget to lock the door? Wait a minute! What's your favorite horror movie? I really like The Thing. I also really like Ju-on. The Grudge, because that movie still kind of scares the shit out of me. I like it. But then there's stuff like In the Mouth of Madness. The Void is really good. Once again, that kind of H.P. Lovecraft vibe. I like Lovecraft shit a lot. But then you have stuff like, obviously, Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, zombie movies, 20 Days Later. So, yeah, I like a lot of horror stuff. It's hard to pin down a favorite, as stated. What made you want to start YouTube, and what's next for your channel? Do you have anything cool planned soon? Right now, I am kind of just going with the flow. I'm gonna get started on subscribe star requests next year, as in, like, basically in January. But in regards to what made me want to start YouTube, I kind of just... As stated, I wanted to do it. I kind of just had an itch in my brain during high school because I was watching YouTube for so long, and all I could think was, fuck it, I could do this. So I started doing it, and now I'm actually at a point where people are watching it and they're liking it, and I'm very, very thankful. In regards to what's next, as stated, I'm doing viewer requests, then I'm working on a few other things, and I have another big project soon. It'll be about Wolfenstein, because I want to talk about how the new trilogy got absolutely raped, but right now I have kind of a set plan I want to get through. How do you make gyoza without tearing the wrapping? Very, very carefully. Or you just buy, like, wrapping that's not ultra cheap, because I tried to make gyoza before and it didn't end well. I'm kind of new, just joined a few days ago, but I guess my question is, what made you want to do YouTube? I guess a lot of people have this question. I guess it makes sense because I kind of did jump up out of nowhere to a lot of people, but as stated, I've been watching YouTube for so long, I kind of just wanted to do it, and I just sat down, tried a few editing softwares. Like, I used one that was like OpenShot or something, and I'm 95% sure that was malware. It ate my laptop. And then I switched to DaVinci Resolve. I got a PC that can actually handle this shit, and here we are. In your opinion, what are some of the most underrated anime out there? Also, hentai review when? Hentai review, that'll depend. It'll depend on whether or not YouTube wants to keep being annoying. I think that'd be really fun, just as like joke videos or something. In regards to underrated anime, definitely stuff like Shigarui or Technolize, the more experimental stuff, because I think the experimental stuff doesn't get enough attention, because everyone just likes the basic bitch, easy to follow story. But, you know, anime is supposed to be a visual medium. You can do visual storytelling, and I like it when it does that. I found your channel a few days ago and just wanted to say that I love the fact that you put Sam Hyde and Nick Fuentes in your videos. I wouldn't blame you for not answering this, but are you a fellow based graper? I like Sam. I think he's really funny. I like $1 Million Extreme. Those are really funny dudes. In regards to Nick, I just kind of know a few of his, like, out of context clips. I never bothered to sit down and watch him because he always just seemed like, to me, he kind of just seems like a grifter, so I'm not ultra interested in watching him. Yeah, it's one of those where I'm kind of picky in regards to who I watch for politics, because politics will give you a fucking heart attack if you let it. If you could rewrite the entire Last of Us 2 script, what would you change? That was actually something I talked about during the chat live stream, how I was kind of considering making a video. It'd be another really big project, but it would basically be going through The Last of Us 2 and completely changing it to try to make it better, using all the same elements so it's not too much of like blatant fan fiction, but, you know, going through and changing things around and shifting things around, trying to make it like a better story, because there's a lot of parts of Last of Us 2 that just don't work. Like, Abby and her friends do not work, and I kind of wanted to do that. It'd be interesting, so who knows, maybe if people really want it, I'll do it. What's your credit card information? Oh sure, it's 696. Oh god damn it! Have you watched Legend of the Galactic Heroes, and if so, why is Reynard so awesome? Yang is just as good. I heard Legend of the Galactic Heroes is like amazing. It's one of the classic animes, so I'm definitely gonna check it out, because I like those like space war mecha things when they're done right, and it's supposed to be like one of the best. How'd you land with that name? If you already answered that, my B, newish sub. It's okay. As said, I landed with the name because I just thought it's something that jump out at people. You know, to me, it's funny because people will see TheAlmightyLoli and they're like, what the fuck is wrong with this dude? Why would he call himself that? Then they'd sit down and watch and either be like, oh yeah, these videos are actually not bad, or they're still like, man, what the fuck is wrong with this dude? Either way, I just think it's funny. Opinion on 80s battle shonen. Are you fond of them? Do you have a favorite amongst them? 80s battle stuff is like a lot of fun, even if 95% of the shit is just wanting to be Fist of the North Star. But it's really good. If you're gonna rip something off, rip from the best. And that's where you got shit like Fist of the North Star and JoJo and even Dragon Ball to an extent. So you have to respect it, even if, you know, you want to shit on it and say the stuff coming out today is really good, even though a lot of the stuff today is still using the same skeleton as a lot of the classic stuff. They just do it not as good. Favorite mecha / Gundam show? Also, are there any Western cartoons you like? In regards to mecha, I really like Gurren Lagann and Gundam Unicorn. Once again, I pointed those out in the stream we did, but yeah, those are really good. I like those a lot. Gurren Lagann's like fucking crazy, but then it gets ultra sad out of nowhere. It's amazing. In regards to Western cartoons I like, BoJack Horseman and Archer's really good. I like those a lot. Hey, Crumb here. Worst possible example of YouTube snakery you've personally witnessed? This site has a lot of scummy creators, doesn't have to be one. Multiple answers here. Well, that's where you get into like more of the drama aspect, but there definitely have been more than a few that really did some scummy shit. The Philip DeFranco thing with BetterHelp, where he was straight up selling like a really faulty mental health system to people, and the only appeal was it was online, you don't have to go to a therapist. And then you read the fucking terms of service, and it turns out the therapists aren't even licensed. It's like, yeah, that was really shitty. That could have actually gotten people killed. Not even an exaggeration. You know, trained therapists are supposed to handle people with severe mental illness. If somebody with like paranoid schizophrenia or extreme depression went to one of these, you know, dumb fuck retards and they didn't get the right advice, that dude could possibly die. That shit's not okay. And the fact he kind of got away with that's really scummy. Other than that, you have the obvious shit like YouTube skeptics shilling for Candid, the chat app, which turned out to be like the test bot for the YouTube censorship thing. Yeah, that was thanks for that, retards. But yeah, there's a whole bunch. It's basically impossible to keep up with how many shitty things are going on. The main thing nowadays is YouTubers getting caught grooming kids. Like, what the fuck, dude? Just keep it in your pants. You're not that important. Like, Jesus. Like, why is everyone trying to be Epstein nowadays? Just be good people, for fuck's sake. You ever think about reviewing Serial Experiments Lane? I heard that was okay, so probably at some point. I haven't heard enough to make me, like, definitively want to sit down and watch it, but it's definitely on my eye. I kind of want to check it out at some point. What or who inspired you to make videos, and who are some other YouTubers you like to watch? Well, I think I already said it at this point, but I really like Mandalore, I really like Seth, I like guys like Mauler and Cynical Reviews, Your Movie Sucks. Those guys are really good, and I highly recommend it. Obviously, Red Letter Media is another big one, because you have the Plinkett Reviews. Vox's Productions, another dude that's genuinely really funny. Whole bunch of dudes. How do I use Pirate Bay? My computer has an autistic fit every time I try. Definitely use Adblock before you go onto it, just to like save yourself from the porn ads. Make sure you have something like uTorrent installed, some kind of torrenting software other than uTorrent, because uTorrent's also not great. But from there, you'll just go to Pirate Bay, you just click on a link, make sure it's like not malware. Usually the comments will outright say whether or not it is, so check the comments, and it should just have a little button that says get torrent, and from there it'll automatically use your torrenting software and you can download it. And be careful of seeding, because that's how most people get caught torrenting stuff. Because you seed it, you're basically uploading it back to those sites so other people can kind of piggyback off it and use your download speed to use it. And most times that's what internet service providers pick up on when you pirate shit. My question is, if you're going to continue to do videos like Spec Ops: The Line and Last of Us 2, because those videos are the ones that made me subscribe, videos where you analyze deep games and maybe even some movies. Oh yeah, as stated, I already have kind of an idea for the next one, where I want to talk about like the Wolfenstein trilogy, the new one, and talk about how that sort of fell apart. But no, I really like doing videos like that. Just as stated, they're so big that, you know, it's kind of kind of one of those I have to plan around doing it. So, thoughts on Breaking Bad? I like Breaking Bad a lot. It is a little overrated where everyone kind of sucks its dick, but it's there for a reason. Even if it turns out that Bryan Cranston's kind of a bad person, because it turns out all of Hollywood's bad people. So, any interest to come on to the EFAP podcast? Thoughts on the newest Berserk chapter? General thoughts on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? Most metal moment in fiction? Okay, so EFAP, like I said, I like those guys a lot. It's just I highly doubt they'd want me on there. So, one of those where, yeah, it'd be nice to pop in for an hour, but I don't think they'd have me. I think they'd immediately see all the shit I'd say and they'd be like, nope, disavow, get this guy out of here. I don't have any expectation that that'll happen. Thoughts on the newest Berserk chapter? I like it, and the shit we found out where it basically did in fact confirm the multiple god hand theory. Yeah, that was really cool. And it was cool seeing like Skull Knight confirmed as that guy we all knew he was. I've been liking the new arc so far. It's been giving us answers and like resolutions and shit. It's obviously building up to the ending, and I'm fine with that, even if it takes forever to get chapters. General thoughts on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? I like it. It's really good. And, you know, I like the craziness to it. The fans are annoying, but you kind of have to shove them out and just focus on the thing itself. Most metal moment in fiction. Berserk, Lost Children chapter, when Guts goes on a fucking rampage and just rips and tears through all the demon kids. And those like bug demon guys. Like that was amazing. That kind of what made me fall in love with the whole series, where you just see this dude go an absolute beast on these guys. It was fucking glorious. What was your tour of duty like in the waifu wars? See, I'm part of the sad little deathcore of Krieg of waifus, where I like the tall girls, and they never ever win or even get any representation. They always lose, and if they even show up. So it feels bad, man. Are you religious in any capacity and or subscribe to any certain philosophy? I'm not like ultra religious, like go to church every single weekend thing, but I definitely think that we're kind of arrogant to just assume there's nothing out there kind of dictating how the universe works. And the fact that the only real excuse a lot of theist people have in regards to religious is, well, if God exists, why can't he do X or Y? They try to add human characteristics to a thing that's specifically described as not human in the slightest. So, to me, it comes down to removing religion from culture has done way more damage than it being there in the first place. And a lot of the people that do tend to describe themselves as atheist tend to just be kind of rebellious kids pissed off they have to go to church, or they couldn't get over the fact their dog died, something like that. They don't understand it's more complicated than that. Least favorite genre and a critique of it. This is gonna sound kind of weird, but I'm not a fan of like pilot stories, like plane stuff. I just don't really give a fuck. I mean, whenever I see it in like military movies or even in like a just like a story of a pilot, I don't care. I don't really give a shit about planes or anything like that. I'm just kind of like, okay, you're in the sky. Good for you, numbnuts. Thoughts on The Walking Dead and Invincible? I don't think I've checked out Invincible, but Walking Dead, I mean, what I'm gonna say is what everybody's gonna say. Went on for way too long. Plus, I kind of have another criticism where it's way too nihilistic for its own good. Like, if you kill off every single character and there's no hope and it falls into the exact same cycles over and over again, nobody will give a shit. You're kind of just committing suicide with your story, because if nothing matters and it's all gonna fall apart, what's the point of even giving a shit? I mean, granted, The Walking Dead did eventually end, and it has an ending, if we're talking about just the comic, but in regards to the show, they're gonna milk that way after it dies, so I don't care. Do you have a Patreon? I have a Subscribe Star, because Subscribe Star lets you say and do things that Patreon would ban you for, and yeah, I don't like the idea of a payment processor donation thing banning people for shit they don't like. That's kind of scary, and that should not be normal. What is your favorite video game of all time? If you do not have a specific game as number one, what is one of your favorites? As stated, I really like the Yakuza series, particularly the first one, just because I like that story of Kiryu and Haruka. That's really nice. I also really like the Persona series. 4 I really like. 5 ended up being better than 4, even though 4 I played like the hell out of. So yeah, stuff like that. I like JRPGs where they really rope you in and make you give a shit about what's going on. Top 5 animes you would reboot excluding Berserk. Ooh, he's being spicy here. I guess if I had to reboot any, Fist of the North Star, because a new anime of that would be fucking incredible. You could also argue that Ghost in the Shell would need a reboot, even though it just got a sequel anime, but a lot of people don't like 2045, so it would have to be a reboot in the sense of like completely just another standalone complex, exact same animation style. Make it come back to life from like the mid-2000s. Battle Angel Alita would be another one I would do, because we haven't seen anything from that beyond the Robert Rodriguez movie in like fucking 30 years. Other than that, I guess you could argue stuff like Junji Ito, because he had Gyo as an OVA, but there's a lot of stuff he could get, and that's getting the Uzumaki anime if that ever fucking comes out. So yeah, I have a few. Opinion on having your stuff stolen. Do you have any family? What's your favorite question? I guess I like the credit card one, because that you almost got me there. But I got you. Can you review Boku no Pico? I kind of have to, because I promised it would be the 1500 sub special, and now we're almost at 30,000, so that's gonna have to come eventually. I'm not gonna be able to avoid boy pussy for much longer. What's your favorite games right now? I really like Cyberpunk. It has a lot of problems, and yes, it's buggy as all hell, but damn it, I'm liking it a lot. I really like it. When they inevitably fix it, I swear to God, it'll be a fucking classic. Are you our guy? No, I don't know why you would say that. I mean, this is a very pro-Israel channel. I have some Semitic in my bloodline, and you can't prove otherwise. I'm saying this for clout, so fuck you. But, you know, we need to give Hellfire missiles to Israel. You know, just saying. What is your favorite video game other than Spec Ops: The Line? I really like Doom. As stated, I like Persona and stuff like that. I'm really liking Dragon Quest XI, and that's pretty good. There's also, obviously, Cyberpunk, which, yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty fucking good, even if it's buggy as all hell. Opinion on the Dragon Ball Super manga chapters, if not thoughts on Dragon Ball Z, or just Dragon Ball in general. Dragon Ball Super is pretty good once they finally get to the tournament. Like, a lot of Super in the beginning is kind of just filler. When you actually get to, like, the Universe tournament, it's pretty good. And a lot of my problems with DBZ, it's been talked about before. The Act Man has a really good video talking about it, but Dragon Ball Z kind of kicked off the trope of it's not about how genuinely good a character is at fighting, it's about how big their number is. It's where you get that shit in anime where a guy can punch a dude in the face and the dude would just be looking at him because it didn't hurt him at all, even if the guy is like a trained fighter. You know, it's one of those, it really helped normalize that, and it's annoying. Other than that, it's a lot of fun. The humor is still really good. Akira Toriyama Toriyama's a really funny guy, and it's one of those where the action to me in Dragon Ball Z, it kind of is hit and miss. There are points where it's fucking glorious, especially in the early stuff, but the later it gets, the more you kind of feel like he doesn't know how to make a fight scene that's not just, and then Goku gets really mad and powers up. So still, it's a classic. You can't really shit talk it too much. What do you think about the future of your channel, and where is it going? At this point, I'm kind of just taking it day by day, because at any point, I could be absolutely ass blasted for one reason or another. Either copyright, because I like using movie clips and music, terms of service shit, because I've said some things that are very spicy and could come back to bite me, but fuck you, I got BitChute, eat my ass. At this point, as stated, I'm just kind of going day by day. Whatever happens, happens, laissez-faire, fuck it. C'est la vie, I guess is the more appropriate term. Is ER your dad? I do like ER a lot. He's a really funny guy, and yeah, he's pretty good. I like his channel a lot. What kind of person were you in high school? Oh, I was okay. In high school, I was actually super into like anti-SJW shit. Because I was in high school, like, right as Gamergate was starting up, and I was super into it. I would unironically watch guys like Sargon of Akkad, or a lot of the Skeptic guys, and some of my, like, first videos are attempts at, like, SJW dunking things. They're really fucking bad. But I tried it, and now I'm at a point where it's like, I don't even give a fuck. You know, fuck the world, who cares? But yeah, me in high school was pretty bad. Oof, really bad. Have you read Tokyo Ghoul and its sequel? Thoughts? Last date, I'm planning on doing a video about it, because some people say it's really good, other people say it's like borderline unwatchable and stupid, so I don't know. It's one of those I'm gonna have to sit down and actually dedicate time to it. I'm gonna go in with an open mind, though. I'm not gonna just go in to shit on it. Konosuba or Kill la Kill? It kind of depends on what you want. Do you want like an actual action fighting show, or do you want like comedy goofy shit? Because granted, Kill la Kill is really funny, has a really good sense of humor, but it's more about fighting. It's about action. It's really explosive and crazy. To me, that's kind of like trying to compare Bayonetta with like Final Fantasy VI. It's like you're asking for different vibes here, but they're both really good. I like them both a lot. Could you do a review on Sword Art Online and give your opinion on SAO fans calling Kirito the Black Swordsman? Well, don't they actually call Kirito the Black Swordsman in that show? If I remember right, yeah, they straight up call him that, and like the magical elf island they have to get to is also called like Elfheim or something. It's very, very obvious the guy who makes Sword Art Online likes Berserk. Yeah, because there's even that point where like his love interest is like, you know, attacked by tentacle monsters, and it's supposed to be when they meet the big bad guys, so it's sort of like Griffith with Casca during the eclipse. Yeah, it's one of those things like, there are some interesting comparisons here. Granted, he doesn't have a huge ass fucking sword, so we can't call it a complete ripoff. He has two swords because he's a pretentious douche. Do the police patrol your area regularly? After I gave people tips on how to make napalm in the Godfather's video, yeah. Do you believe in free will or everything being predetermined? It kind of depends. I mean, some days it's absolutely like, yeah, people will just do crazy shit because they can. Other times, shit can come out that feels so weird and out of left field, it's almost like it was scripted. It's one of those, it's hard to pin down an absolute because everything is just so fucking chaotic and crazy with the world. Who knows? What's your address? Yeah, I'm gonna skip that one. I liked the Gantz video you did. What'd you think of reviewing the manga and not the anime of Terraformers? Yeah, the anime for Terraformers is pretty bad. But yeah, the manga is a lot of fun. It's sort of the same vibe as Gantz, and yeah, that would probably be fun to check out. Guilty pleasure anime. Interspecies Reviewers was a lot of fun, even though it is kind of degenerate. You would basically just be watching porn, but you know what? Fuck it, it's funny, I like it. What is any anime, movie, video game, and media overall that you think is overrated? Anime, definitely Demon Slayer. I'm still of the opinion that that show is nowhere near as good as what people think it is. It just had really good animation and music because the, you know, UFO table does good work, but the story itself is fucking retarded. Movie, I really am not a fan of a lot of the Marvel shit. That's kind of becoming more of a popular opinion, but there was a point where that was straight up heresy to people. It's like, yeah, you had to like Marvel, and I'm at a point where it's like, it's the same shit over and over again. Nothing's ever solved. It's the exact same problem with the comics. And media, you know, I'm lopping the same with video game. Definitely BioShock Infinite is like one of the most overrated fucking games I've ever seen. The story is so stupid, but it thinks it's so smart. And the entire reason journalists loved it as much as they did is purely because it talked about racism and the communists were sort of sympathetic. That's it. It's just, I don't like BioShock Infinite. It was dumb. I don't like it. Elizabeth was okay as a waifu. Other than that, it's just, ugh. What's your social security number? You're really trying, man. You're not gonna get me. Why'd you name yourself TheAlmightyLoli? Well, I thought it was funny. I just thought like, this name would be funny. Also, I'm an undercover FBI agent, so everybody subscribed to this channel admits they like Lolly. You're all pedophiles now. You're all going to jail. What's the best dub? Ghost Stories or Hellsing Ultimate? Probably Ghost Stories, just because that had me like on the floor laughing, because it's so fucking good. I'm gonna have to talk about Ghost Stories and its dub eventually. That is man, it's good, it's funny. Also, is Pat Labor 2's ending the ultimate black pill in anime? If I remember right, it wasn't that grim. It was grim, but, you know, not ultra grim. Let's say, hypothetically, you got robbed. What's the first thing you do? Okay, you finally ripped off the mask there. Now I know what you're trying to do. But, I have a pit bull, and I have guns. So, what's your opinion on Anitube, and why are you the best anime YouTuber? What is your opinion on shonen anime, and what are your top 3? Lastly, are you a UK or U of L fan? In regards to AnimeTube, I mean, I kind of already said it before, but so many of them just kind of repeat the same opinions over and over again. I at least try to be different. I don't think I'm the best. I think there's way better guys than me. It's just, you know, I try to stand out as like, hey, I like this. Even though a lot of other people tend to talk about something completely different. It's just me kind of putting my opinion out there. Maybe that's why people like it. And on shonen anime, as stated, they tend to have the same tropes where, especially after the DBZ big number thing started, everything had to be about this guy had a really big number and everyone had to like train to get to that big number, even if you don't really understand how their training affects their number, because it never really ever plays a part in it. It's weird, but you'll know what I mean, where it literally just becomes about who has the biggest number. At least Hunter x Hunter was honest about that, and they literally made it a trackable stat, and they kind of made fun of that. But in regards to shit, you know, like DBZ, it's oof. The top 3 shonen: Dragon Ball Z, even though I did just shit talk it, Hunter x Hunter, and Full Metal. Those are my top 3 shonen. And UK versus U of L, UK. Otherwise, my parents will hit me again. Why are you running? I don't know. I'm scared, and there's things chasing me. Odd question, given how poorly they turn out. But are there any anime you would think would work well as a live-action series, assuming the writers actually make a good product and not massacre the story? If I really had to say it and like you twisted my arm, I guess you could see Cowboy Bebop working as live action, because it would basically be The Expanse, but a lot more of like a chill, laid back thing. You could also argue that maybe Ghost in the Shell, if they did it right, it would just be a cyberpunk story, and just don't do the movie, make it actually good. A lot of people say Berserk needs a live action series. It really doesn't. Like high concept stuff like that, it will not turn out good. Like don't trust it. Other than that, I would really like to see Vagabond, because that would basically just be Musashi Miyamoto's life. What's your day job? As stated, I work in a real estate office. I do like admin work and stuff like that. I'm working on getting my license just right now, just do admin stuff. I'm on the computer because a bunch of boomer women in their 50s don't know how to work computers. Who is your waifu? That's kind of hard, because there's a lot of really good ones. If I had to, I guess Kusanagi, because she is cyber mommy. You also have Casca, because she's, you know, dark-skinned tomboy, and she's pretty good. There's a whole bunch of really good ones. You can't single just one. You need to be okay with multiple. Do you plan to do any other kinds of videos other than criticisms and reviews of animes and games? Not that there's a problem with those kinds of videos, that's why I sub for. I am trying to get more into, like, live streaming stuff, because I think that'd be fun, and people would, you know, have fun interacting, you know, and all that. It'd be great. Other than that, I'd really have to kind of, like, sit down and think, what else would I want to do? Because I like talking about animes and games. I like talking to people about that stuff. What is the best 4chan board, and why is it poll? Poll's okay. It's just as stated, most people have mental breakdowns, and this recent election hasn't made it any better because there's obvious paid shills trying to infiltrate it. Like, people from Reddit are like, oh, finally, we can go on poll. It's like, no, you really can't. It's just as what you thought it was. Did Belka do anything wrong? Okay, I'm having trouble remembering who Belka is. I'm gonna have to like get back to you on that, because I don't remember who she is. The ultimate question: who is your waifu? Well, as stated, you can't just pick one. There's all sorts of good ones. You have to have an open mind. You know, be open about accepting all sorts of different waifus. What is your political outlook? As stated, I'm pretty far right, you could say, but I'm not like, I don't buy into a lot of the shit that they try to say as far right, because it's like, a lot of that shit's propaganda. They try to get you to say it because it makes you look terrible. So no, my outlook is literally just leave me the fuck alone. Don't impact my life. Don't get involved with my life. Don't steal my fucking money. You know, don't do any shit like that. I'm of the opinion the government needs to be on a very short leash, not the other way around. I don't know if this fits, but have you checked out the anime Claymore? It's based on a manga by the same name, written by Norihiro Yagi. I definitely think it's worth checking out, considering your taste. Oh yeah, I like Claymore. I know one guy, Siberian Goose, he's constantly trying to get me to talk about it, and I have to keep saying, it's like, dude, it's coming. Just, I'm working on a whole bunch of things. But yeah, I like Claymore. It's really good. What's your opinion on Monster Musume and its contributions to modern ecchi harems? I mean, I don't really see how it contributed beyond just being another show with titties. You know, a lot of those shows, it's like, yeah, they're for market. markets, you know? Dudes are horny, they want to jerk off to something pretty, so here's an anime full of pretty women with big titties. There you go. And, you know, they have all sorts of different archetypes for all sorts of different people, so, you know, it's one of those things. It's like, yeah, it serves a purpose. Can't really yell at it for that. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much does Konosuba suck? I like Konosuba. Fuck you. 0. That's what it is, 0. So here's a modified version of another question. Do you play a lot of board/tabletop games, such as Yu-Gi-Oh!, D&D, and other games? Second question, kind of cheating. What do you think about the musical theater, such as Hamilton? I occasionally played tabletop. It got to a point where me and my friends just didn't have the time, you know? And we never really got super into it. We played Cyberpunk, and that was a lot of fun. I really liked that. We tried getting into Pathfinder, but Pathfinder's confusing, and we ended up fucking up almost every session. So, but no, it's fun. It's fun. In regards to musical theater, I don't really watch a lot. I'm not really into musicals, so, but I mean, I respect them. I'm fine with when people say, oh yeah, I like that stuff. It's like, okay, yeah. Are you willing to make money whatever the cost? Well, I kind of have a weird belief on that, where the more you want money and the grittier you get, the less likely you are to get it. Because, you know, especially if you do media stuff like YouTube, or hell, you're an actor or something like that, the more you chase money, the more you're setting up a downfall where you lose everything. Because it moves past a point why you even got anywhere to begin with. People want shit that's real. They don't want fake, greedy products. You know, they want something that feels legitimate and has substance to it. It's why a really cheap story told well and they have a lot of passion behind it is remembered way more than a lot of the bullshit, ultra expensive crap Hollywood puts out. So I'm willing to stay like this, so long as people like it. You know, I'd rather be considered as the guy with really good videos than the ultra popular guy that makes a bunch of money and no one really gives a fuck about them. So, that's my goal. Have you played Danganronpa? If you played it, what are your opinions? Well, I like bits and pieces of them, but the main stuff I like is basically, oh, this is just a really edgy Ace Attorney, because I really like Ace Attorney. So, Danganronpa, I didn't really get super into it. But, you know, in your opinion, what was the most terrible anime or hentai you've watched? Well, that's where you once again get into the stuff I don't like, I don't really remember, and the only thing I can, like, really pin down is I really didn't like that feels ultra seasonal, and it's like, well, nobody's even gonna remember what the fuck this is in, like, fucking 2 years. But Darling in the Franxx really wasn't that good. I didn't like it quite a bit. I thought it was shit. Why is Bakugo so trash? I assume you're talking about the kid from My Hero Academia. Well, once again, it's the shonen trope of you need the edgy, angry rival, and that's all he is. He's not really that good. I mean, everyone else is pretty great, but, you know, I like My Hero well enough, even if it's gotten to the point where I'm like, I don't really want to get involved with this. I don't like ultra huge universes if it's like a really big cast to follow. I'm one of those where I like a really fleshed out universe and I like a large scale story, but I'd rather it feel a lot more personal, where it's about either one person's journey or just a small group of people's journey. If it's so many people all the time and they're all bouncing off each other, to me, I'm just like, why are your opinions so based? Well, I don't even think it's that. It's just, you know, I say what I say and I like what I like, so, you know, I don't want to be a dick about it. It's just, yeah, I like making jokes and I like, you know, talking about shit. So, you know, favorite game, what is it? As stated, I really like stuff like Doom. I really like JRPGs. Yakuza is really good if you're okay with ultra long cutscenes and shit like that. So yeah, stuff like that. I really like that stuff. Do you have any good movies to recommend to someone who doesn't watch movies often, and what inspired you to make your videos? In regards to movies, for like people that don't watch movies often, you know, stuff like thrillers and horror movies, just because, they're fun to watch even if you're not super into them. I really like David Fincher stuff like Fight Club, so that's kind of one of those where it's like, in regards to don't watch movies often, you really have to pin down what exactly that means, because if it's like you just don't have the time for it, you don't want something ultra long, so maybe 90-minute movies or short films or shit like Evil Dead where it's only about like 80 minutes, you know, stuff like that. But in regards to you just don't watch a lot of them, you get started on guys like David Fincher, or, you know, Korean movies have been really good so far. Just be open to kind of watch anything and everything, because you'd be amazed at what you like. In regards to what inspired me to make videos, well, I kind of already said it, because a few people have asked this question. I get why, because they're curious. It's like, hey, why do you want to do this? It's just because I've been watching YouTube for so long, and I kind of just thought to myself, well, why can't I do it? You know, if literally anybody can just, you know, jump up and do it, why not me? And I want to do it. So if you had to emigrate to another country in history, what country would you choose and why? Okay, if we're talking in history, I'm going to cheat a little bit and say feudal Japan, because I will become the king of the rice, and nobody can stop me. What fetish do you have that you won't tell anyone? I mean, not really that bad, but what other games are you planning to do video essays about? As stated, I want to do one on Wolfenstein. Some people are asking for like a full dissection of Spec Ops: The Line, and that could be really interesting, because I mainly just talked about spoiler stuff and why I like how Spec Ops: The Line does certain things over Last of Us 2, so maybe. And I said I am tempted to do like a full rewrite thingy of Last of Us 2 if people want that. It's like, yeah, I have a few ideas of what could come, and I think that'd be really interesting. What are your opinions on VTubers? Will you ever do a video on the Michael Bay Transformer movies versus the original cartoon? Can you do a video on anime dubs in the future? I am tempted to do one on anime dubs just to kind of be like, I'm not a big fan of dubs because to me they all sound the same. They're all pretty stilted, and I don't think they really ever match the characters that well. Some of them definitely do, others I'm just kind of like, eh. In regards to VTubers, I like VTubers. I like Ina, I like Watame. Coco's a lot of fun. You know, Amelia and Gura, they're a lot of fun. And there's some like independent people doing it that's also pretty good. Fruit is pretty good. You know, she's kind of cute. And you have Iron Mouse. Iron Mouse is fucking crazy, but she's a lot of fun. In regards to like Michael Bay Transformers versus the movies, or the old cartoon, I mean, maybe? I was never, like, ultra into Transformers, but it could be interesting to talk about. Have you watched Monogatari series? As stated, I'm planning on eventually jumping in head first, but I've only, like, tapped at it. I watched the one with the vampire and all that. It's one of those where you have to kind of, like, find the good way to jump in, because it's such a fucking, like, crazy mishmash of shit, so. Only 2 questions. What would you say is a game or show that you find to be pretty good, but the majority of people who saw it, played it, thought it was bad? Who would you say are your top 3 favorite characters in all media? In regards to, like, a game that I thought was pretty good, but everybody kind of thought was shit. I really liked Splatterhouse when that came out. I don't know why, but that game just kind of clicked with me. I thought it was fun. It was like an ultra-violent, heavy metal game, and yeah, it was good. It wasn't incredible, but it definitely deserved a lot more than it was getting. In regards to a show, I really like Barry, the one on HBO. It's not even that people find it bad, it's just I don't hear a lot of people talking about it, but Barry's really good. It's a really good show. And top 3 favorite characters in media, as stated, I really like Guts, I really like Kiryu, and the third guy I'm having trouble thinking about, but I like Ryan Gosling's character from Blade Runner 2049, just because that to me was genuinely really good. That was a really good character, and I was really interested to see where he goes. I like 2049 a lot, even though a lot of people say it's bad. It's like, no, I like that movie. Fuck you, it's good. Alright, this is for both you and anyone who reads it. I need a manga, anime, or hell just book where the main lead constantly gets the shit beat out of them, like Deku, Guts, basically any shonen protagonist, but always gets back up against the challenge, but it's a female lead. No Mary Sue crap, no automatically a badass. They have to struggle and train, and they grow into an actually strong character. Revi from Black Lagoon is good, but she was always a badass in the show. Have you heard of anything like that? Because it's mind-boggling, stupid, rare how it is to find something like that. That's kind of one I have to think about, because the most I think about where it's a badass female protagonist, they've always been a badass. You know, Black Lagoon, Ghost in the Shell. You could argue Battle Angel Alita, because Alita can fight, but it takes a bit for her to get really good at it. So I guess maybe Battle Angel Alita. Opinion on Hiro Mashima. If I remember right, Fairy Tail started off okay, but then it just kind of like went on way too long. Once again, typical shonen curse. And I don't know, I just don't remember a lot of Fairy Tail. It's one of those things where he's one of those guys where he really does try and make something, but it's so fucking generic, I can barely remember it. Have you read Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro? If so, what do you think about it? I like that one, that's fun. It's one of the ones that's kind of in the same vein as Uzaki, where everyone's waiting for an anime for it, but it takes a while before it actually happens. I say Uzaki because it actually does have an anime coming out, so it's not like a Komi-san thing where you're waiting forever and it's just not gonna happen. Who is the best Eva girl and why is it Asuka? I really like Rei, because Asuka's a bitch, Rei's at least nice. Also, have you seen Katana Gatari? It's also by Nisio Isen of Monogatari fame, and it's absolutely worth a watch. I'll have to check it out. As stated, I haven't touched a lot of the Monogatari stuff beyond the vampire one. I keep saying the vampire one because that's literally the only one I've watched of it, but I'll eventually get started on a lot of that stuff. So, what's the worst game you've ever played? That's kind of hard, because I played a lot of like shovelware stuff when that was on PS2. If I really had to say, there was like some weird, edgy steampunk western game that came out on PS3, and one of the selling points was it had like parkour movement, but it was literally just you can climb on ledges, and it was so bad. I barely remember the name of it. I don't remember the name of it. But yeah, that game was, oof, it was not good. What are your opinion on these things? My Hero Academia? Pretty good. Shield Hero? Really like it. I don't even know why. It's basic isekai story, but they actually make the main guy go through hell, and it's good. Ruby? I'm gonna talk about Ruby eventually. Gundam as a whole, like a favorite. I like Unicorn and Iron-Blooded Orphans. One Piece and Eden Zero. One Piece, if I remember right, it goes on way too long, but it's still like pretty good throughout all of it. So One Piece is weird. It's really weird gray area with One Piece. And Eden Zero, I have not touched yet. Plus, if you have the time, have you seen the manga Slave of Capital Magic Soldiers or close to it, made by the author of Akame ga Kill? It's a guilty pleasure of mine. I have not seen Capital Magic Soldiers. I'll have to check it out if you say it's good. What are your thoughts on Rising of the Shield Hero? Personally, as soon as the bird lolly got introduced, the show went to shit. It lost its way. It dropped its satirical and failure-ridden episodes just because isekai. Just like One Punch Man and Mob Psycho 100, when it starts being the thing it criticizes, it loses what makes it great and becomes a worse version of what it's critiquing. Well, you kind of answered your own question there, but I still like Shield Hero well enough. I like the twist it had with the other heroes. I'm not talking about the ones in his universe, I'm talking about the ones from other universes. That was genuinely pretty interesting. I like the fact that the main kind of idea of the story is that the heroes themselves are awful people and they're the ones causing the most damage out of everything. So it still has potential, but I definitely see what you mean, where it's kind of just the thing it yells at. So you're not wrong. Do you have any pets? Who is your favorite author? And will you do any more game reviews? If so, can you review either Star Wars Battlefront 2 or Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword? In regards to like game reviews, I don't know. I'm not really that... I don't think I'm that good that I can do full-on reviews of games. You know, where basically my whole thing with games is, do I like it? Okay, I think it's pretty good. But, I mean, I'm willing to talk about shit like that. I like talking about video games, so who knows? In regards to pets, yes, I do, in fact. I have dogs, and they're nice. They're good puppers, even if they get really loud when one of us leaves or something like that, and I'm trying to sleep in. But what can you do? And who is my favorite author? I really like the guy that wrote Metro, the Russian guy, I can't remember his name, and Sapkowski, the dude who wrote Witcher, even though he's a complete asshole. Like, those are really good. Will you do a Berserk video reviewing each arc from the manga, and will you do a face reveal? I will not do a face reveal, already stated, but reviewing each Berserk arc one by one could be very interesting. It's like, yeah, that sounds like kind of cool. Would you consider posting a How I Make Videos video? I'd like to see the process, what you use, and how to go about it. Yeah, that would actually be kind of fun. It'd be kind of hard to explain because a lot of my process is just putting kind of a voice track on a timeline and then crafting the whole video around that, where I'm mainly script focused. But yeah, I'd definitely like to you know, do it. I got a couple. How do you record/edit videos? Do you think of becoming a VTuber? How do you pick a topic for your videos? Okay, in regards to the record edit videos, that'd be the same as the How I Make Videos thing, and that'd be interesting to show off, you know, kind of. It's a lot simpler than you would think, but yeah. And did I ever think of becoming a VTuber? Well, that's one of those where it's a lot more complicated than people think. You have to get like an entire animation rig, and you got to get a webcam with face rig on it. There's a few more steps than you would think. In regards to how do you pick a topic for your video, it's kind of just what do I want to do at the time. Like, you know, what do I want to do? What's kind of itching at my brain? And then I'll sit down and do it. So, yeah, that's kind of the best I can say. You mentioned that you hate Wolfenstein: The New Colossus. Could you please make a review of the game? If you've already done that, please link. Yeah, I say it. I'm thinking of making the next big project, kind of talking about why the new Wolfenstein trilogy kind of fell apart the way it did and why I really think it kind of, you know, died. Only question I need answered. You a Berserk fan? Yes, I am a Berserk fan. I like Berserk quite a bit. What are your 5 favorite animes ever? I think I've already said that, but I like Ghost in the Shell. I like Cowboy Bebop. Dragon Ball Z is really good. Fullmetal Alchemist is really good. Obviously, you have Berserk. You know, there's stuff like that. Just one question. Do you like the first half of Berserk or the second half more? I guess I kind of like the first half a bit more, but the second half is really good, too, because that's where you actually get into Guts' redemption and all that. So, yeah, it's one of those things where I don't think either is necessarily weaker than the other. They both kind of have equal flaws. It's just, it depends on what you consider a flaw at the time. Spats or Shimapan? Spats, definitely. Thoughts on the Max Payne series of games? What games have you been playing recently? Thoughts on Australia's hentai ban? Yeah, Australia and really just the world at large is becoming a lot more authoritarian. Like, that's the actual word for it, where you have fucking man-children and government thinking, well, I have to show how big of a dick I've got. I've got to play God. So they're going to do whatever the fuck they want just because they know you're not going to do anything to stop it. So it's one of those things where our leaders are children and they're going to lead us to absolute disaster. Yeah, daily blackpilling from your friend here. Anyway, thoughts on the Max Payne series of games? I really like Max Payne. Like, Max Payne 3 is really good, even though a lot of people like to pretend that one doesn't exist. And I don't even get why. I thought Max Payne 3 was still just as good as the others. And what games I've been playing recently? Yakuza 7, Cyberpunk 2077, and Dragon Quest 11. Because I really like Dragon Quest 11. It's pretty good so far. I have one question. Why don't you put your glasses on and nothing will be wrong? I don't know why, but I really like Tell Me Why. A lot of people like Tell Me Why. It's just one of those things where it didn't work for me. I didn't think it fit Berserk. If it was in any other show, especially one that was like more comedic, it would be fine, but it just doesn't work for Berserk to me. What's your opinion on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and what's your favorite part? Well, as stated, I really like JoJo. I think my favorite part is either 5, 7, or 2. One of those. And I'm talking like 7 is obviously manga, 5 and 2 are really good animes. Like the guy who plays fucking Gintoki and Gintama is Joseph in part 2. It's amazing. Do you know American Krogan? I think you two should do a joint video game review. Yeah, Krogan's alright. I know he got thrown off YouTube because he's a spicy boy, but apparently he actually is supposed to be pretty good. And I've seen a few of his videos. My big thing is like, I don't agree with his Red Dead Redemption 2 video, where he was trying to say it was like actually like, you know, woke propaganda. I like Red Dead Redemption 2 a lot, and I didn't feel that at all. To me, it was kind of like, I think you're, you know, jumping at shadows a little bit, but he seems like a cool guy. Did you do the Fortnite Galactus event? I don't play Fortnite. I don't play multiplayer games that much because I don't like interacting with other people. I like, you know, going through games single player with stories or just really fun gameplay. I'm not super into multiplayer shit, but no, I did not touch the Fortnite Galactus event. What's the worst anime you ever watched? I'm just gonna say Darling in the Franxx, make it easy, because I've already said it a few times, and just reiterating that I don't know which is exactly the worst because I can't remember it. It's like, nah, just Darling in the Franxx, that one was bad. Is Trump actually black? I mean, maybe. Alright, holy shit, that was a lot of questions from you guys. I'm really thankful for everybody that contributed. I mean, oh my god, that was a lot. But still, it was really cool of everybody to ask for questions and to want to know how everything turns out and want to know about me a bit more and all that. It's like, yeah, that was nice of everybody, But hopefully this will be out by New Year's, you know, at the very least. I was tempted to like do this as a live stream, then I could think was, I don't think I'd have time to do it as a live stream. Just, you know, work shit and getting the time to do a full-on Q&A thing. Plus everybody watching at the time then would want questions answered, so juggling both of them is like, nah, just do it as a video, make it easier. As stated, this has been a lot more stripped down than you realize because this was mainly about quantity over quality, which already the quality is pretty bad, so we're just doing quantity right now. Still, thank you for everybody that showed up. Really nice of you. Really means a lot. I'm really tired right now, so all I can say is that, you know, I have links to like Parler, because everybody's on Parler now because Twitter's going to hell, and Subscribestar down in the description. I attempt you all to check it out. Thank you to everybody that helped this channel reach over 20,000 subscribers, and we are getting increasingly close to 30,000, which that's also really cool. So until next time, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys. I'd like to thank my Subscribestar donators, Bridge Badger, Anthony Paletta, Warcrime Enthusiast, Heat Signature, Quisp Heavysack Fratelli, Gabin Logan, N, Zell, Shrimp Cake, Matthew Thompson, Bottled Titty Milk, Hand Rubbing Merchant, Epistemological, Joshua M. Howard, Cream Pie Kohai, Sir Atlich, Sexy Demon Horse, Angry Taki, Bost, Crumb, The False Knight, AMD Blue, Moonat, Mr. Cool Gamer, and Lucas Stolas Enjoyer. It's very nice of everybody who donated, and Happy New Year. Hopefully it will not be anywhere near as shit as last year, but all in all, who knows. See you guys.